Hey everyone! I would be really happy to join you in person, but the world had just some other plans, and I'm still super grateful for this amazing opportunity to share my thoughts on games and emotional design. So I'll see you in about 7 minutes on Slido, and please get your questions ready. I would be really happy to answer all of them. So, let's get started. I'm Maria Amirkhanyan, head of gaming division at Duamentes Gaming, and I've been in game user research for over a decade, and actually I started my career in cognitive science. So I'm quite obsessed with the why behind player behavior, and here you can see a bunch of games which I'm really enjoying to play most of my time, and these games are sparkling some really intense emotions. So let's get started about the small truth that actually in mobile gaming, 92% of players leave by day 30. In PC console, well, just imagine how many players don't try out the game or even a demo just because of initial impressions or the impressions they received before they actually download the game. Players quit because the game fails to make them feel anything at all. Retention is emotional rather than just, well, mechanical. Of course, I would say that UX is no longer just clarity, and some game studios still treating UX research like polish, a final checkup, but the real challenge is the emotional clarity. And overall, we can say that there's a myth about this average player, but who's that in 2025? One player squeezes in 5 minutes on the bus, another spends hundreds of hours in Baldur's Gate, and it's just amazing. We can see this player diversity right now. And yeah, players often decide to play the game even before they download the game or open the store page. They see the game on TikTok, they watch some streams, watch influencers, YouTube shorts, and etc. So by the time they hit store page, their decision is already made. So this is something that we need to take into account. Players don't just run away from difficulty, they just run away from lifeless games. Yeah, the challenge might be if the challenge is correct, so the game will be fine. But when we're talking about emotional friction, this is a really crucial thing because the game might be lifeless if it's not built around emotions. And here are some games which are just champions of emotional design. In mobile gaming, I want to highlight the game called Merge Mansion. And all the trailers and all the experience are grabbing attention, starting with the grandmother, like, why? What's she's hiding? Or Clear Obscure Expedition 33, in which atmosphere, the music, and everything are just built around emotions. But what if players aren't just playing the game, but living with it? And there are some examples of games which are not just games, but ecosystems, and players live the way they live with Instagram or Spotify. Here's an example of the game called Love and Deep Space. It's just an amazing example of the game which is daily ritual because it's built around daily rituals of players. There's identity immersion because you're creating a character and you have these companions. And those companions also provide the emotional support. And it's not about just progress bars or about presence. Players stay because it feels intimate, calming, like a space that belongs to them, and a lot of features like to-do lists or period trackers and are unique features of the game which reminds about work, lunch, or other crucial things in our daily life. And this is the thing that actually makes this bond between the game and players so strong. Players are involved in the game and not just present and when they want to have some fun, but the game is present in their daily ritual and everything is made about emotions and care. The similar example and similar patterns of, well, creating around emotions and care we can see in games of Hoyoverse. And these are like Zenless Zen Zero, Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail. They're not just another games, but they were built around the main question, like what type of emotions do we want to spark in our players? And here are 5 critical patterns that we can see right now in players. So let's start with the first one, and it's about session compression. So we know that all the sessions right now are becoming much shorter, especially when we're talking about mobile gaming. And the emotions are far critical for players. They want to receive these intense emotions as fast as possible, and the example here is Marvel Snap, because in 3-minute match you can receive a fully complete emotional arc. You get the adrenaline, the intense emotions, and this is the reason why players back to the game. They're not just about fun, but about emotions. Another example is about evaluation of those emotions and driving this emotion first design. A game Journey, it was one of the pioneers of emotion over mechanical challenge. It's pretty simple. You're just running and not doing anything at all in the game, but overall it was built, and the main evaluation was around emotions. Also, let's talk about genre fluidity. Disomancer, Data Diver, Cult of the Lamb. This is a great examples of games which are mixing absolutely different genres, and right now players want to have crafting in shooters, stories in puzzles, and game RPG layers in strategies. Also, when we're talking about emotions, the community and the social aspect is one of the key pillars of games, and Brawl Stars is a great example of, well, creating these bonds which are far stronger than just small incentive. Player not just play the game because it's fun, but because there are other players. There's this strong social part. And don't forget, the game starts long before, well, the game is actually played. It starts with trailer, with the demo, release list, Discord community, and when a player see other influencers play the game. And this is also something that we need to investigate. It's not only about researching the game itself, but we should go far beyond the game, because here's this kind of emotional research gap that we have right now. The majority of the gaming studios still perceive the UX research as a polish, as a checklist, and not a foundation. And the answer here is to start early as possible. Do small emotion mapping studies. Understand what all of these concept or the redesign is built for. And it's not only about asking the question like, is it clear? But does this resonate to the player? And we need to have this emotional clarity. It's crucial to understand what identity we want to have in our game. And yeah, so start as early as possible. Talk more about UX research, and thank you so much for your attention. See you in Slido in a couple of minutes, and let's connect on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and see you there. Bye.